Hi, I'm Bee Bowman, and I have a great game that I want to introduce trainers and teachers, professors, mediators, anyone who is looking to help people engage in difficult conversations, a game that actually challenges you to talk about touchy topics. This game was created by George Simons and myself, and it's called Diversophy. I'm including a link to a sample of the game, and I wanted to just show you a card or two here to show you how it's played. So this is a little bit about Diversophy and the idea that it's about the exploration of touchy topics and being able to have those conversations in a respectful and safe space. A little bit about me, a little bit about George. And this is not, like I said, the exhaustive game. This is only a sampling to show you how it's played. So there's 7 kinds of cards, and you take turns going around the group, reading the cards, and then one person answers or everyone answers or can answer to any card. And there's different types of cards that you'll see where you have to get either the best answer or the answers on the back of the card, or it's a share or have a conversation about the card. So here's one, which is a quotation. Those who avoid confrontation at all costs are preserving the very problems they wish would go away. And this is credited to culture conscious. And it says, after reading this card aloud, any player, including you, may comment on it. And that you is maybe the game hoster, the person who's hosting the game for the group. This card says, genetic genealogy or DNA testing analysis analyzes the human genome to prove or at least estimate ancestry. An example, the degree of kinship between individuals. For example, someone may learn from a DNA test that they have Irish blood, although they do not know where that blood lineage came from, except for test results. Is DNA testing credible? So this is a yes or no question, and so there will be an answer on the back of the card. You can have a discussion about it and get a consensus about how everyone feels about DNA testing, and then show the back of the card. And you see that there's points, whatever your answer, add 3 points to your score. So it's just a fun layer to add to the discussion if you want to make points. But there technically is no wrong answer. Another card, imagine you are the person in this situation. How might you think, feel, or react? Sentiments against migrants are rising in the area where you teach university level intercultural subjects. You attempt to bring up this problem in your course lectures and activities and encourage your students to become actively engaged in these topics, issues. A higher up person in your department censors you for violating the norms of academic objectivity. So you can, of course, talk about the words in the cards. You can talk about the vocabulary. And if any vocabulary isn't clear, you can clarify amongst yourselves. And this one says, players who wish may share their views on the subject, and you can win 4 points. So Diversophy is about having difficult conversations and learning how to better navigate heated discussions and feelings, strong feelings that may be connected to topics, as well as examining your own ideals and values. It's not a game about judgment. And the goal is to continue to have conversations, to stay open to opinions that you may not share, to points of view that actively cause you to retreat, to want to pull back into yourself, and dealing with those emotions in a play frame where it's safe, where you can say, that's your opinion, and you are allowed to your opinion. Here's one more card. The concept of laïcité, my French is horrible, in France originated with A, the French Revolution, B, the 1905 law on separation of church and state, C, the recent influx of Muslim refugees, and D, the attack on Charlie Hebdo journalists. Now, this concept of laïcité, I am not aware of this. And so this is a card that maybe I would pass on, or I would just guess what it could be. And I would depend on others in the room who had more knowledge of French or France, or even maybe take the time out to Google this phrase and see what it is. But the card will answer. A is the answer. The French Revolution targeted not just the monarchy, but the influence of the Catholic clergy in politics and society. This was formalized in the 1905 law on the separation of the churches and the state. France passed a law in 2004 banning religious symbols and clothing in hopes of reducing extremism. It remains a thorny question. So this game example that I've created is to just let you see how the game is played, and even play with the idea of touchy topics and see where your own borders lie and boundaries, what you feel comfortable talking about and what you don't feel comfortable talking about. And also allowing others to have a respectful place to share their opinions, even when you do not agree.